Hello there, namaste. So I just watched the first movie of Hasseen Dillruba. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Alright, so being full honest, I had 2 trailers of this in my to react list. I thought they were the same movie. Apparently, one was the sequel, the other one was the first one. I just watched the first film, and I gotta say, I guess the trailers kind of helped me know going into it what it was gonna be. So, this film is kind of like one of those detective mysteries. Like, one thing I was like, it should be like The Usual Suspects, where they're in the interrogation room and then what they say kind of dictate how the flashback is perceived. And lo and behold, in at least the first film, they did that. She's in the interrogation room. We're introduced to an explosion that happened. You see the hand with the tattoo of her name, Ronnie, on it, and I kind of predicted how it would end. It just kind of, it felt obvious to me. I believe I even said it while I was watching the trailer, but then again, I had like 15 different predictions, but one of them I said did turn out to be right. Yeah. But I gotta say, this film follows the female as she's being interrogated and her life. She dreams of a man that is unobtainable. It's like, because there's a joke about it where the guy she ends up marrying is just like, you wanted like 6 dudes. Okay, that actually sounds weird now that I've said it aloud. But it was actually pretty funny in the beginning because it was like the arranged marriage aspect. They're both uncomfortable, and I'm someone who personally doesn't believe in arranged marriages. Back in the day, when there was like royalty, and the way you made peace with foreign nations was marrying your sons and daughters off to the foreign kingdom, so that way you could broker peace, that made sense. When it's just the working class citizen having them be married off to someone else of a working class citizen, that doesn't make sense to me. So in full honesty, arranged marriages don't make sense to me. I don't think they ever will, no matter how people describe it to me. But going back to the story, so it kind of leans into the humor of an arranged marriage. They don't get along, they don't actually understand each other. Their first night together physically is uneventful, let's just put it that way. And then she starts joking about it with her family, which breaks his heart. And so he kind of removes himself from her. Because if it's like every mistake in this relationship comes because of the way the woman acts. And the sad part is when she starts mending bridges is not for her spouse, it's for her spouse's cousin who she ends up forming an attachment to. Her spouse's cousin basically says, "Oh, I'd like some tea." So she learns how to make tea, as her husband teaches her, so she can make tea for the one she actually cares about, not her husband. And then her husband's cousin says, "Oh, I want this for dinner." She learns to cook. She didn't care to learn to cook for her husband. So a lot of the things that are absolutely anger-inducing were the fact that everything was her fault. Even when she's like doing like being interrogated for her husband's murder, what does she do? She starts blaming everything on everyone else. Sure, it ends in a way that's supposed to be somewhat romantic, which I kind of predicted. But at the same time, I didn't like how she talked about things, because she ends up cheating on her husband with her husband's cousin. And then she talks about how, "Oh, if I didn't do this, I would have never seen how my husband really acted." You're the one who put him in that situation. You break a kind man's heart, you just see how they'll react. In the fact that she acts as if, "Oh, I just emerged his true self." No, you broke him as a person, and she was just trying to act as if it wasn't her fault. No, it was absolutely her fault. The adultery is not something that's acceptable, and she was just trying to rationalize it and be like, "Well, I made my husband's true self come out. He tried to kill me multiple times." Well, he did warn you that after he found out about the affair, that if you stayed there, he would try. He would do it. And he tried several times. Not completely, because he always left you an out to survive, but the fact that she was like trying to run him under the bus, and it's like, it's supposed to be like this romantic insanity, love is insanity type of ending. But in the end, it didn't feel that way with how she was, when she was in the interrogation room, she was throwing him under the bus consistently. Which is one thing I didn't really enjoy, even though I did enjoy the interview aspect. Yeah, but they end up forming it. They end up getting close together once again because she climbs up on a ledge. She says, "Push me off. If you really wanted to kill me, you would have already. You can push me right now. You can stab me. You can drown me," like all that stuff. They start mending bridges, and then lo and behold, his cousin returns to the scene, and that's kind of how the whole story plays out. Of course, with like interviews here and there, and then you see different perspectives of the story. You get glimpses of like the explosion that killed her husband. You get all that stuff. It is interesting to watch. It wasn't as impactful as I guess I would have liked because it was kind of predictable. But in the end, in some of these, you just need some predictability. I don't know if this was trying to be a mystery, or a drama, or a weird twisted romance, but it didn't really fall under any of the categories. It was an enjoyable watch, but at the same time, there was a little too much going on, with a little too satisfaction in the end, and I had issues with like, everything was her fault. Everything, because here the kind-hearted man, her husband, wanted to get her to love him before they really did anything, but she didn't want that. She wanted lust, which is why she ended up going with the cousin, realizing that what she truly wanted in the end was love. Her husband loved her because the cousin ran out when he basically said, "Oh, I'm returning to Delhi. Oh, I'll go with you." And as soon as he heard that, guess what? He booked it that second. Ugh. Men. They're just awful, aren't they? They're just awful. Thank you all for watching. Talk to you next time. Toodles!